Hey everybody, welcome to Business Biceps and BS, where CPAs flex more than just their minds. Hey everybody, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go and rehash one of the items that we talked about at the Decision Makers virtual conference. And one of them was, we're gonna talk about burnout. We're going to talk about things that when we as CPAs during the day, what does our day look like? Why is it that we always look, when everybody says, what do you do? You're a CPA, like, oh my gosh, that seems like it's such a hard job. Why do people look at us and think, I don't know if I could be a CPA? It's because when we are out there doing what we do, we love it so much that we don't even see what's happening when we are actually plying our trade. So what I want to look at is I really want to get into really what is burnout, and not necessarily from like the metaphysical perspective, but really how we are projecting ourselves in our careers amongst all the other people out there who want to be. Hopefully, these young kids are looking at us and saying, "I want to be a CPA someday." Right? The C, the P, the A. It's a really big deal. So we are going to get into this, and what I encourage you to do is over the next 50 minutes, while you're dutifully getting your CPE, and hopefully this is an entertaining CPE, I want you guys to kind of think about when in your career has this actually affected you, because I'm going to probably trigger you several times throughout the CPE, and I'm not doing it on purpose, but I'm going to hit something that's going to make you want to tell your story. I want to hear those stories. The GSCPA wants to hear those stories, because if we hear them, we can understand that we're not the only ones out there that are dealing with this, and we're not putting ourselves. There's something to be said about being vulnerable, but not to the sense where it's like it's a weakness. It's just that sometimes we just work so hard that we kind of just forget that we might be workaholics. So we're gonna have some fun today, and let's just jump. Let's just stop pretending that burnout is just some buzzword. All right, it's not. The way it hits us is much different than I would say somebody else, because we're kind of driven to be that way. We have a busy season, which I know. You look at the KPMGs, the Ernst & Youngs, the PwCs, the Deloittes, the Arthur Andersons, former Arthur Andersons, the Grant Thorntons, the CLAs. I mean, you pick a big firm out there. They don't call it busy season anymore. They call it opportunity season, because those are the times we create opportunities. But how are we creating opportunities, Tim? We're creating opportunities in the way that we get to interact with our clients. Yeah, we're looking at numbers. Yeah, we're auditing. We're making sure that we're fairly represented in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. Yeah, we get all that. The issue, though, is that how are you delivering that information? And that is what we need to make sure we're staying consistent on. And if we're burnt out and we just can't do it anymore, we just need a vacation from our vacation, then our storytelling ability goes away. And that's how we connect. That's what makes us valuable. It's not the fact that we can run through a whole bunch of numbers. Anybody can run through a whole bunch of numbers. What makes the CPA valuable is that we have professional judgment after having looked at all this information, and we can package it in a way that I can communicate to a client who then can turn around and communicate it to their stakeholders, maybe investors, maybe stockholders, may just be a mom and pop that needs a loan at a bank, right? The idea here is that we need them to be able to tell their story, and they're looking to us to get those notes. So we are storyboarding for mom and pops. We're storyboarding for Fortune 500. Even though they say they don't need it, they need it. They all need it, guys. And since we are the linchpin, since accounting is the language that every business speaks, we are going to take this to the next degree, which is the people who are speaking the language need to be in the game, mentally, physically, spiritually. We got to get it. This is where when I'm looking at what accountants bring to the table. If you got into this profession for accolades, you've probably very quickly found out that this is not a position where people slap you on the back and say, "Oh my gosh, that's such a great job." Nobody remembers the accountant you look at all the different founders, the Walt Disneys, the Jeff Bezos, the Steve Jobs. Who are their financial advisors? Who are their CFOs? Can you name them? Probably not. And you know what? That's okay, because we're the type of people that we don't stand up and go, hey, I need to be noticed. We're the type of people that we like to get things done. And not only do we like to get things done, we like to get it done right, on time, and it's accurate, and the story that we're telling is going to be authentic. We don't want people to be surprised. We are conservative by nature, and that is okay. So as we start moving through here, we really need to identify that burnout, it's not really a mood, right? It is a mission hazard. What I mean by that is that I love this graphic only because like I went with the whole comic book theme because I really enjoyed just this comic book sequential art and what have you. And I'm a gamer. I love all the graphic arts and everything out there because again, storytelling. I gotta have some context. I'm an extremely visual person. And when I saw ChatGPT throw this out at me, because ChatGPT, we're buddies. I said, hey, give me. This is what's happening. It's late at night. There's a candle burning, and that actually, by the way, that was supposed to be a candle burning at both ends, but for some reason, ChatGPT gets absolutely befuddled when you say, "Hey, take this candle, burn it at both ends." It's like, I do not compute, do not. So if you're worried about your job in the candle industry being taken over by AI, you're safe. All right. But the point is that it's late at night, we're working hard, and then we get that text message from a client that says, "Hey, so I got this quick question. Oh my gosh. If I had a nickel, it's been inflation. A quarter? Does anybody use quarters anymore? $1, a Bitcoin. If I had one of those for every quick question that I've answered in my career, I wouldn't be sitting here. Well, actually, I might be sitting here because I really enjoy this stuff. But the point is that you know what I'm talking about. People come in as like, they kind of hang on the door frame. They'll like come in and they'll, hey, I got this quick question, right? And it's like, okay. And you're just sitting there dutifully typing up, doing your thing. And they come in and it's like, did you want me to answer that now? Well, yeah, I mean, I'm here, I'm kind of sitting here. I look good. I got my flared collar. I'm from marketing. I'm from, something more fun than accounting. And I've got a quick question that I know you nerds can handle for me. Like, okay, what's your quick question? And that's where we get into the problem. The problem is that we are problem solvers. And we love it. This is the reason why we go to work. I know everybody complains at the end of the day. It's like, I never got my stuff done. We get everybody else's stuff done, and we get our stuff done. But we have to wait for everybody else to go home in order for us to get our stuff done. And this is kind of one of those things. You look at it and you say, hey, quick question. At 10:47 p.m., you're still at the office. Most of us this resonates. Now, not all the time, but there are times when, we have to crush something out. And what we need to do is say, hey, call the wife, call the hubby, call the kids. Like, hey, dad's not coming home. Mom's not coming home tonight. I'm going to be at the office. Get your coffee, take off the shoes, and just crank, because that's the only time that we really have that we can have all the noises taken out, and we can settle into what we are really good at doing, is that deep, deep work in solving problems, right? And making that spreadsheet just as good as it could be, right? So it is. There's a part where the thrill of the puzzle really fades into the dread of triage. And that's okay. It's just a matter of when it's happening, what are you telling yourself? We say that, I'm necessary. We'll say I'm essential, right? Remember when COVID came around, it's like essential versus non-essential finance. I had a letter that I had to carry around in my truck, so in case I got pulled over by the police, I could say, "Schling, I'm essential." Like, who defines who's essential, right? I can tell you what is absolutely, who will find out who's essential is that when the accountants don't show up and they stop doing their jobs, guess what happens to the business? Yep, that essential business just became bankrupt because nobody knows how to actually run the business except the accountants. So, and that's not hubris. That's not being haughty. It's what we do. We're just that good at all the tiny little details that nobody thinks of. We know how to do them. And we pride ourselves on that, getting those things done, right? So yeah, we tell ourselves, I'm valuable. The reality of it is that after years of working at this really high pace, it comes to where, I don't know, maybe I'm just tired. This stuff sneaks up on us. And it's not a bad thing. It's just one of those things where we just need to be able to recognize that what is our value to our organization? And are we really giving 100% of our value if we're constantly trying to catch up on the mental health, the physical health, the spiritual health, everything that makes us who we are? If we come dragging ass into the organization one day, and all of a sudden, people are like, "Hey, what's wrong with Naddy? Hey, what's wrong with Lisa?" And people are kind of they look down. I mean, it's not that we're down. It's just like, we're really busy. And when people keep coming in and they give us those quick questions, what they don't realize is that we are being pulled out. I mean pulled. We are ripped out of the good work that we've been trying to do in order to answer some innocuous question that, probably you could have done this with ChatGPT. You don't really have to come and bother me every single time you have a question. But you know what? When you do, because I'm a client service person, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to take the time, and I'm going to answer it. Because that's what we do. We're problem solvers. We do it. We really do it because we care. We do it because, this is the haughty part. We're really good at it. And what's nice about that, and I know you guys are thinking about this right now, and you're saying, I am pretty awesome at my job. And it's okay to think that way, because you really need to think, you have that self-confidence, because no one else in your organization is going to tell you that. Now, you can call me and say, "Hey, Naddy, I need some words of wisdom." And I was like, "Hey, you're awesome at what you do." You know how I know? Because that company is still standing. So this is this culmination of this back office work where we're trying to solve problems, very Batman-esque, right? You got a tool belt of all these different things. You can throw your batarang over here. You have this really cool car. You have this jet wing, or they're called a bat wing. You have all these really neat tools that you can use. And at the end of the day, they're tools that are accentuating the powers that you have as a CPA. I call that shadow ops. And shadow ops from the standpoint of, we are so good at working in the shadows and doing things to our own level of excellence, right? But also making sure that everybody else's expectations are not just met, but that they're exceeded. That's where we live. We're type A. We're CPAs. And as a CPA, we take a lot of pride in what we do. So what I want to tell you is that it's okay to feel this way. In a burnout capacity, like, I need to have a vacation. And by the way, when you go on vacation, literally go on vacation, turn off that phone. Those things, they're horrible. They're just a tether to bring you right back. And when you get off your vacation, it's like you never left. And that's great for everybody at the office, but it's not good for you. So it's that even keyboard warriors need to come up for air, and you deserve to breathe. So what I'm thinking here is that without you, without us, without the CPA environment, and the people the professionals that we bring to the table, the whole operation, it truly burns out. And it only takes one interaction for you to be out for a week and 5 alarm bells are going off saying, where did they put it? What did they do? Did they respond? Blah, 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 blah. And it keeps going and going and going. So if you ever doubted your value, know that you are valued. They just don't know how valuable you are. And that's why I need you to know how valuable you are. And I know this is very touchy-feely, and CPAs don't want to talk about this, and especially the dudes. There are dudes out there that's like, no, I'm not going to put my vulnerability on my sleeve. Guys, this isn't about you. I want you guys to hear me right now. This is not about you as a CPA having burnout. This is about how other people perceive you as a mentor and leader in your organization. People are always watching the finance person. Why? Because they're usually the ones that they show up to work dressed for work, right? You're not flipping around in flip-flops. You don't got cut off shorts. Every once in a while, you might pull out a Hawaiian shirt, maybe a goofy Friday. But they're always looking to you to see, what is the level of expectation? What is excellence? When I have a question and I want a real answer, do I go to marketing? Nah. Do I go to the management guys? No. I go to the CPAs. I go to the accountants, because the accountants will always, because we pride ourselves on it, we will always give you an accurate and a well thought out, researched opinion on what's going on. And if you ever ask an accountant, hey, can you give me the supporting documentation, and they don't have it, send them to me. I'll teach them a little something about how to prepare for real quick questions. There's a way for us to do this, and there's a way for us to take this back, and it's focusing on ourselves, but it's to better the environment within which we work. But most importantly, it's to better the environment for the people who are coming up behind us, so that our succession plans can actually work when we're ready to rock and roll. So what does this look like? Well, it's time that we realign, reignite, and in a very Baptist way, resupply, right? So 3 R's, the three R's of business. Here they come, reading, writing, arithmetic. We're going to realign, reunite, and resupply. And just in case you didn't really get that piece, I made another slide to throw it out there in a very comic book way, right? Bang, boo, bop. I said onomatopoeia. So we are going to rebuild the profession. For the next 35 minutes, we're going to rebuild the profession from the inside out. And if you're ready to rock and roll, I'm ready as well. So think about it. Welcome to Shadow Ops. If you've never heard that phrase before, you now have been inducted into the secret society of the men and women who are the CPAs, AICPA, GSCPA, Cal CPA, Iowa CPA, all of these CPA societies out there. They all have one thing in common. They have a membership of badasses who know how to get things done. All right? That's number one. Know who you are. We are the background brilliance. We fix things that literally no one else understands. And what I mean by that is that if you haven't really realized it yet, because of all this AI push and the technology that's coming down, do you have a CIO? Do you have a CTO in your organization? And if you do, how many times do people go to them with problems as opposed to coming to the CFO? The CFOs are now CFOs, VP of Finance. Just pick finance, accounting directors, what have you, right? Someone in the accounting area. If there's something that's a little bit technical and people need answers for it, and you don't have that information person on staff or a technology person on staff, guess who gets the question? You do. Why? Because you're smart. You know how to research things, and people know you know how to give answers. So it's kind of lazy. Personally, they'll come to you as like, hey, I was just wondering about something. It's like, oh, you could have wondered that straight inside ChatGPT or Grok or just anywhere on the internet, and you could have got your answer. But you came to me. Why? Because they value your opinion. Understand that. It is not about you being the research or research piece of the entire organization. It's because they want your opinion on things. Why? Because they value your opinion. So if they value your opinion that much and they keep coming around and talking to you and ripping you out of your work, then wait a second, but they don't value your time. Well, there's a workaround for that. We don't ask for applause. We ask for accuracy. That's where we live. Without us, legit, payroll fails, budget stall, and chaos reigns. I love that. I kind of think of like the office is on fire. There's trash cans on fire. There's like things falling from the ceiling. All of these things that are happening all at once, and there's a CPA just working. Just if I had a green visor, I'd be wearing it. The idea here is that we are the ones who are doing the jobs when nobody's looking. And that's amazing for us. That's our superpower, right? We are the Bruce Wayne of the Batman. Everybody loves Batman. They don't understand that it's Bruce Wayne behind the scenes, right? You got Superman, Clark Kent. And if I knew one of the female ones, I'd put one out there too. The point is that inside those superhero suits are real people who have real jobs, who have real thoughts, real emotions. That's us. And we may go to work with a tie, with a jacket, with something that looks very suit-ish, right? That is our super suit. But understand, we are people on the inside of those. And we need to make sure we take care of those people, because the people on the inside are the ones that are affecting the people on the outside. And that's where our mentorship is going to be projected. Okay? So, going in, how do we do this? First thing we want to do, guys, is we need to realign our personal and professional goals. There is a gentleman out in California, his name is Ron Baker. And Ron, if you're listening to this, man, fist bump to you. he has come up with this. He's been pushing this for a while. It's kind of the value principle. Like why do we keep especially in the firm environment, right? So in the firm environment, why do we bill hourly? If any of you can answer that question and actually convince me why it's a good idea, then yeah, put a comment below, and I will respond to that comment with the absolute 180 of what you just said. Because our time may be valuable. I get that piece. But billing it out over hours sends the wrong message. It sends the message that we can be owned for 4 hours, for 8 hours, for 20 hours. And by the way, we all know if you're really good at the management of your billing, your realization rate and your utilization rate and all those zhuns that Big Four taught us how to do, right? If you're really good at it, you know that it's always going to take 2 times as long to get these things done, right? That's why 80% is in the planning and 20% is in the execution. They tell you that in school all day long until you get out there and you realize, we just hit the ground. The audit plan's already set. The audit fee's already set. And now we have to crush in order to get this thing done. So some partner up the chain can make just enough money on all of his other 4,000 engagements that they have. So she can make a bonus and I get to work overtime again. By the way, there's no overtime because we're all salaried and we're all essentially considered exempt, right? So maybe that federal labor standards law needs to come into the CPA world. The idea here, though, is that at some point we're going to break. And we don't break from the standpoint of we don't like our work anymore. It's just that, oh my gosh, there's so much of it. So why did we get into this work in the first place? Like who told you were good at accounting? Who told you that you had the proclivity and all the attributes to be in a fantastic CPA? Was it the DISC personality test that you took? As I can tell you right now, I took that. I had actually an argument, we'll call it debate, with one of my former partners at a firm. And I told him, I said, we have a problem here. We keep hiring the same mold of CPA and it's going to run us into the ground. He said, nope, we don't. And I said, no, we do. And he said, I said, do you want to put your money where your mouth is? Sure. We all took the DISC personality test. And of the 78 people, of the 80 people that worked at that firm, 78 of them tested out as a CPA, as an accountant. 2 of them tested differently. One of them was a used car salesman. That was me. So I look at it and I go, well, hey, if I test out as a used car salesman and I can just talk the talk and do all that spiel that everybody thinks is really neat, but I can also apply that into accounting, technical jargon, then I think that kind of makes me a double threat, right? Well, why wouldn't we want more of those people in our profession? Well, that's the whole point. The point is that the question here, what did you love before the grind dimmed your light? What made you so passionate about what you're doing that 3, 4, 10, 14 years into your career, you decided, oh my gosh, and your body just slumps. There had to be that one moment that you looked at and said, no, I want to help people make better decisions. I want to be there in the room when they look at those financial statements. I know this sounds super nerdy and I'm going to do this because it's where we live right now. I want to be there when they read those financial statements and they actually understand them. They understand their own story. Like, guys, we are giant storytellers is what we are. We're really crafting. Yeah, we play with numbers all day long. But the reality is that if you look at your income statement, right, your income statement is for the period beginning and ending, right, for a certain period of time. Your balance sheet is a snapshot of what's happening in your company. Your cash flow obviously deals with your cash flow. But the whole thing is it's a giant story. And we're really, really good at telling that story. And I think that's what gets us into this profession in the first place, is that deep down, I think CPAs, the ones that have taken it all the way, whether you have a master's or doctorate, what have you, but you have that CPA license. I think that CPA license is the extra effort that we put into it. It tells us that we care that the numbers are right, that it's accurate, it's timely, and that you understand your story. Your clients understand your story. I think we really want to help people. And so if you kind of take that into context of realigning personal and professional goals, if that's why you got into this profession in the first place and you feel like you've lost that you're just in it, like now you just grind, it's all about me, put that out of your mind, because it's not about you. If you continue to focus on the people outside of you, how you can help them up, rising tide lifts all boats. If you can help them up out of that circumstance and teach them something about their business that they didn't know before, that's why we do what we do. You got to find that passion again. So, what should your work-life balance equation look like? I mean, that was a big thing in the late 90s, early 2000s. Work-life balance. It's like, it's kind of amorphous. What is work-life balance? In the CPA world, it was that we got 5 weeks of vacation, and we never took one of them because PTO. People would laugh at the person that actually took advantage of that, but on the reality is that person actually had it figured out, but they didn't make it up the ladder very far because they were looked at as like, well, it looks like your priorities are elsewhere. They're on the cruise ship. They're in Bermuda. They're in the Rockies. They're definitely not here doing work for our clients. And that's the mentality that we look up and we go, I don't want to be in this box anymore. We're going to fix that. Because what I want you to do is I want you to go back and go, what made me feel that this was my career? And when you take that and you realign it, your professional goals with your personal goals, it will actually start feeling like you're back. And I know this, again, a bunch of gobbledygook, it's a bunch of touchy-feely stuff, but sometimes we got to get in touch with the person on the inside so that we can understand what people are seeing on the outside. All right. So realignment isn't giving up. It's really recalibrating. If you know, you stay late to finally get work done. There's an article that was written for the GSCPA. I think it's in the March-April edition called 5 o'clock shadow. And a lot of this comes out of that article. But the point of the article is that, listen, when you smell those candles that are going out throughout, maybe you have an office where you're not allowed to use candles, but in my office, they can use candles. And I can smell when everybody's going home because they'll blow out their candles and it'll come up through the HVAC system. And all of a sudden they go, something's on fire. No. Tracy's going home. Yep. All the staff, everybody else in the entire organization has left the building because I can smell it. In a way, that smell it's elation, right? Because I know from 5:30 to 9:30, I'm going to have 4 hours of uninterrupted work that I'm going to crush out everything I needed to do from 7 o'clock that morning that I never got to get to because right around 8:30 when people started coming in and drinking the coffee up from the pot that I made, and not just, hey, I got a quick question, blah, 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 meetings, this, that, and that. I was never able to get it done because I was taking care of everybody else. And again, I love doing it. And so do you. But the question is that smell that's supposed to be, it makes me happy when people are going home. It's also, if you really think about it, it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad we smell a candle that should bring, should make us a moat into wanting to be walking on a beach with our family or with our dog or what have you. And we're smelling it going, yeah, here we go. Another 4 hours by myself. So you know what I'm talking about. You've been there. It may not be a candle that we're talking about. It might be the DoorDash coming in again at 7:30 at night. There's a time and a place. All I'm saying is that if you realign these things, you may not actually run into the burnout, which is where everybody they hit a wall. They hit a wall and they just lose it. So what's standing between realignment and reignition? So we're going to realign our goals so we can reignite. Reignite what? We're going to reignite that passion that we had, right? The passion of the reason why we got into this profession in the first place. The reason why when we go and talk to a client about their financial statements, the most nerdiest thing on the planet, right? But that we love doing it because they're across the way. They're looking at us going, thank you so much for making this easy for me to understand. Because when there's people out there that can look at a balance sheet and immediately know what's wrong with the company. Awesome. Can you communicate it? Because that's the problem. If you can tell them a story and work in all of the nuances of their kids and the basketball tournaments and all these things that they tell you, if they have framed picture on the wall, incorporate that in the story. The point is that you as a professional know the numbers cold. You know it. You've been in it for the last 2, 3 weeks, months, and now it's your turn to tell them what's going on so that they can turn around and feel good about what they're doing, right? I know a lot of people out there, like they kind of hop around, especially in the audit field. Audit and tax, very similar, right? That you're kind of, you dip your toe in over here, you see what people are doing, very cool, right? You go over to another client, dip your toe in, and like, oh, this is kind of neat. And you kind of get a smattering of all these different places in the industry that, oh, maybe if I left public accounting, I'd like to go here and do this. Or maybe I'd like a little bit of this, right? From a tax perspective, just, you get to see all these different things. If you're already in the private sector, some of those doors might have closed, and I'll say they're more ajar, right? You've just kind of let them just cracked, because you always want to have the ability to go and do something that you love, but right now you're working for a private organization, and this is the organization that needs you. And so the thought is that while you're there for 40, 50, let's not kid ourselves, 60, sometimes 70 hours a week, depending on the time of the year, right? Are you still doing it because you love it? Or are you doing it because you feel like you have to do it? And that's what we really need to get down to. Is it what is making you work this hard? Are we just not efficient? Is it truly that we just need to set hours for deep work, and that people, hey, look, I get it that you had a quick question. Maybe something on the door that says, hey, from 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock in the morning, this is deep work for us. And so I would be happy to answer any questions at 11 o'clock on, right? Just make some time for yourself. That could be one of the easiest ways to navigate some of this burnout. And the thought is that it's not that burnout is, it's not that you lost your passion for it. It's that you just feel like you're running on fumes. And so we need to figure that out. We need to figure that out collectively. It's one of the things where I think it's very therapeutic in the sense that there are other CPAs out there. All CPAs, I think I can generalize this. I would say that all CPAs understand what I'm talking about. The ones that have figured this out and have said, no, like very Chick-fil-A-ish, we're going to shut down on Sunday. We are not doing any business Sunday. How much money do they give up on Sunday? A lot. That after church crowd would love to get that chicken sandwich on Sunday, right? So would you. But no, they're not open, because that's part of their company mantra. It's like, no, we're gonna honor that day. We're gonna give a day of rest. Well, then let's take a little page out of Chick-fil-A. Why don't we give ourselves the ability to have that rest? Again, there are times when we have to grind, and people expect us to grind. Why? Because that's who we are. We're going to rise to the occasion every single time. But we don't have to do it in a way where it's begrudging, all right? And that's one of those things that we really need to figure out as a profession. What is that balance? That work-life balance? It's more of just like an energy thing, right? If you're not bringing your full energy to the table every day, what's pulling it away? We need to figure that out, and there's ways to do that. There's a book that was that came out, Ernestine Michel. I think this guy's French, and like really cool name, Ernestine Michel framework. In his book Breaking the Work Burnout Cycle. I think I just mixed French and German, whatever. The point is that breaking the work burnout cycle, he's got this book, and it's actually pretty good. It's bullet pointed, super easy to read. And it describes 5 steps that you can take. In this case, you recognize what the burn is, right? Number 2, set tactical boundaries. Like really set boundaries with people. Like, no, for real. I will not answer your questions before 11 o'clock in the morning. Why? Well, oh my gosh, why are you being so abrasive? No, it's not that I'm being abrasive. I'm just asking you to take accountability and respect the time that I need to get my stuff done so I can be available to you and everybody else on those other hours. Set the boundaries. You can also reclaim your time. Right, that's part of the hey, make an appointment thing. It's funny because in finance, specifically in finance, everybody just thinks that you just have all the time in the world to answer. And by the way, what ends up happening is when they come in with a quick question, it's not just about like an accounting question. It could be something completely random. Hey, this payroll. I don't do payroll. That's HR. Oh, I saw a dollar sign. I thought that was you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for thinking about me. But that's HR. Let me help you And you know what you end up doing? Okay, what's your problem? How can I help you? And we're going to fix the problem anyway. And then it goes on to, oh, hey, how are your kids? How's your dog? You know, how's that bike you've been riding on that really dark road and cycle, right? Hopefully you don't fall off into the ditches. It's things like that we start talking about other things, and then you're sitting there going, okay, now I got to be polite. Oh, I wish they would just leave the office. I gotta get down. And then they finally leave, and you get settled, get in your laptop, and then someone else comes in and asks that quick question. It starts over, right? You got to reclaim your time. Rebuild safe zones. And what I mean by that is that's not something where you mark out things in yellow tape and say, no, you cannot. The safe zone being that that people know at certain times during the day what you're going to be working on and when you can be approached. And again, it's not one of those things where you just like, you're so abrasive now, you're like a big porcupine. It's just, but you have to let people know that, hey, listen, I've got to get work done too, because not only am I helping you, and I love helping you, but I also have mandates from above where I need to do my own strategic thinking. I need time to sit with my own C-suite and deal with some of the strategies that the board is giving us, that the investors want to see. I'm being pulled in different ways that you have no idea what I'm working on, and nor do you care. You've never asked me what I do during the day, but I'm quick to help you with your quick questions. So, and that's okay. We need to be able to set those boundaries, reclaim the time, rebuild those safe zones, and then if need be, engage professional support. You don't have to go and get a shrink. However, sometimes that might be helpful. Lay down on the couch. I would probably fall asleep on the couch, especially if it's a comfortable leather couch, which is nice and cold at the beginning. But why not just reach out to other CPAs? In fact, I think the GS CPA needs to come up with a kind of like a help session where we can all just kind of lean on each other and talk to each other about what's going on in your world today. Why? Because guys, we're all dealing with the same kind of stuff. And now if we can get through, like, we're not going to talk about numbers, we're not going to talk about people and personalities, but we can talk about, like, what are the things we're struggling with. One of the easiest ways to kind of get through what you're working on is to know that you're not the only one going through it. So lean on us. Lean on the GSCPA. We are a bunch of CPAs. Now, Boyd tells us that he's not a CPA. That's okay. He's a CEA, CAE, one of those, certified associate evangelist, I think it is, expert, something like that. But that's okay, because the idea is that all CPAs understand what the grind is. And so find yourself someone that, 2 or 3 people that are in your level, your capacity, and just, go to lunch or have a coffee date, just kind of talk about this stuff. I think you're going to find that it's very cathartic when you're able to do that. And what I mean by that is you're going to find out that you're not broken. Okay. It's just that sometimes you just need to reset. All right. Burnout's not a weakness. It's data. It's your body telling you, it's your mind telling you that, hey, if I keep pushing at this pace, if I keep pushing at this energy level, something's going to break, and it's going to break badly, right? Now, you might not end up in an RV with a bald head cooking meth, but you might do some really goofy things, right? You might buy a car that you can't afford, and then all of a sudden your wife's like, hey, what are you buying a car? I was like, I'm going through a midlife crisis. Leave me alone. Maybe not. Don't know where that rabbit trail came from. Understand that the pause is not a failure. All right? It's fuel. It's how you're going to react in the future. All right, and there's a reason why we're doing this, right? And just something funny, by the way, speaking of ChatGPT, this glorious slide that's on your screen right here, it always makes me laugh because every once in a while ChatGPT goes a little sideways. And so I'm wondering, who in the world is driving this car? If she's got one hand in the power movement, you got one holding onto the door. Is there someone underneath pressing the gas pedals with one hand and driving with the other hand? I don't know what's going on, but ChatGPT makes me laugh. I love it. Thank you for OpenAI for making ChatGPT. All right, where do we go with this, guys? We need to reignite our passion. You see that guy's heart burning on the screen? That's what it should feel like. It's like when that crescendo happens in that movie. And it's like, oh no, they're going to get caught. Oh my gosh. And your heart's beating. That's the feeling you should have when you go to work every day. And if you're not feeling that, then man, we got to recharge. We got to reignite. So we're going to realign what our professional and personal goals are, but now we have to reignite our passion. Why? Why did you do this in the first place? What made you want to be who you are? Was it a mentor? Was it your parents? Was it an uncle? Was it a teacher? What was it that got you there? Was it maybe it was you were selling cookies as a brownie one day, and you realized, oh my gosh, I sold these cookies to this person. They had a huge smile on their face. I want to bring smiles to people's faces all the time through economics. Sorry, I was nerd. But yeah, that's the whole point. Like, reclaim the joy of clarity, closure, and complexity. Gosh, I'm really good at that Baptist stuff with using the alliteration. Do you remember that feeling when the numbers clicked into place? Do you remember that feeling when you helped a client avoid disaster? Do you remember the feeling when you were proud of your work? This is what we're trying to get to, guys. You gotta capture that again. And not only do you have to capture it, you have to show that you captured it. Because here's the kicker. When you reconnect with yourself, and again, I know this is very earthy, new wave, going to listen to EDM music and light a big heart candle and burn incense and stuff like that. Do what you want. The point is, guys, is that we are superheroes. We are noble. We are nerdy, and we are necessary. Another alliteration. I didn't realize how many were in this thing. We solve problems people didn't know they had. We turn vision into reality, and we know the story before it's told. Have you ever noticed that in the finance department, we know everything about the organization even before HR knows it? Because we get the legal bills, and the legal bills that come through, oh, if you got a good lawyer, they're going to start mapping out what you're paying for in these bills. You know everything. Everybody comes to you because they know you can help solve problems. And so let's wear it, guys. Let's reignite that passion. Let's get out there and go, yeah, not only do we know the story, we know how to handle it. If something were to come in and some sideways, we know how to take that pivot, put it in the strategy, and move on. That's why people want us around. And if you feel that right now, you're in the right profession. If you don't feel that right now, you might be on the burnout or you might be in the wrong profession, guys. And it's okay for a CPA to go do something other than accounting. You know why? Because you as a CPA, outside of the accounting industry, makes people go, CPAs can do that too? Yeah, we're people. We ride motorcycles. We get mustaches. We lift weights. You know, we're manly. We can also cook a souffle. We can also get our toes done. We can also do all these different things that make us interesting people. We can fish. We can shoot. We can do all these things. But people only see us as the nerds that are sitting behind a tablet and doing our thing because that's what we let people see. We need to kind of let people in, guys. We got to break this mold. Hashtag CPA evolved. We need to break this mold. And the reason why is because we are getting into a place in our careers where we need to pass the mantle. And the only way we're going to be able to take everything that we've learned over the last 15, 20, 25, some people 40 years of experience is to take that, package it up, and find a proselyte, find an acolyte, find someone who you can pour that into. Because I can tell you this, if you are not purposefully mentoring people behind you, you are purposely mentoring people behind you. They're just seeing a different side of you. They're getting a different part of the story. So take ownership of that story and be purposeful for it. You are being watched as the central person. I don't care if you are the staff auditor, the staff accountant, the middle manager, or the person at the very top of the organization. Everybody is watching you. And so you got to think, well, how am I going to project that? How am I going to show people that this is such a cool job? I love what I do. And it's not just about numbers. It's about telling stories. It's about connection. It's about engagement. And it's also about taking a little time for yourself, you know, just making it work. We need to repopulate the ranks, guys. We got a problem right now. There's a pipeline issue. And the pipeline issue is that the kids that are at school are looking up the ladder going, I don't want to be them. I don't want to be them at all. They look stressed. They look grumpy. They look tired. Well, you know why they do that? Perfect example. I was kind of joking around with GSCPA the other day. We had an accounting conference last June, and they were taking photos, right, which is cool. And the photos that got put up on the website were of just people. I think I saw one photo where someone was yawning in the background. All right, this is a conference that's supposed to be super awesome, and there's like in the very background. If I could do like this, I would think that dude is yawning. Why are we should be putting out the pictures of us actually doing our jobs. And I'm not talking about like clink, taking tapes and looking at it and, taking your cigar. No, I'm talking about actually showing us engaging with the clients, doing the stuff with the clients that nobody ever sees, right? Because we're CPAs, we're supposed to be behind the scenes. No, this is what makes us who we are, the way we connect. It's the reason why people want us around in the first place. Because we understand stuff that they don't understand, and we tell the story in a way that they can understand it. It's awesome. It makes us valuable. But now we got to teach the people behind us how to do that. And you know what they don't want to do? They don't want to take over your job if you're constantly a curmudgeon, looking at it going, yeah, man, I've been in this thing for 30 years, and look what it's got me. No. You need to be like, I've been in this thing for 30 years. I want another 30 years in this place. You think you're going to take my job? Come on in. Let's see what we can do. No, we need the next generation to come on in. So here's how we're doing it. We are going to bring the sexy back. All right, you heard that Timberlake song, Justin Timberlake. I'm bringing sexy back. Hopefully in the post prod we can put that. Maybe get 8 seconds of that in here. It'd be awesome. No, we got to bring the sexy back to accounting, guys. And what we're going to do, and the GSCPA has actually done some pretty cool things. We are recording, actually, you're looking at it right now, the Business, Biceps, and BS podcast. It's one of a handful of different ways that we're going to be reaching out to you with not only a way to get CPE, like what you're doing right now, but also in a way for us to connect with you so you can turn around and connect with them. Because it's not about us. It's about them. If you can take the focus off of you, you will find that you will not only find your passion again, but you're also going to be able to show other people that, hey, there's something different about that guy. That woman, whenever she walks in, something about her just lights up the room. That's who we are. But somewhere along the way, we've kind of lost our edge. We need to get back. And so what the GSCPA is doing is we're going to come out with, we got this really cool podcast platform. I'm in the studio right now. It's fantastic. You should connect with us. You need to connect with your society, and we can help you, lead you to resources. If you happen to be somebody that just needs a kicker, you just need to pick me up, great. Come talk to us. That's what we're here for. If you're someone that needs a little bit more professional help, come talk to us. We can point you to resources. The point is that we need you in the game, and being in the game means that you are excited, you're passionate, you remembered your why, so that you can turn around to the people that are coming behind you. And it's not just kids coming out of the universities. These are high school kids, financial literacy, right? At the high school level, at the elementary level, at the middle school level. Showing them that, hey, CPAs are pretty cool, We don't always have to talk in these really robotic terms. No, we want to go out there and we say, look, we're a person. And because of that, let me tell you what it's done for me and how you can just open up your world with an accounting degree. That's what we're going to do. All right, so we got some educational initiatives, right? We have this, obviously, a new and fun way to reach out to other people. But also, what we're trying to do is just help people tell their stories. Because at the end of the day, guys, CPAs, it's not about math. Everybody says, just math. It's not about math. It's about being able to tell a story. Own your story. Own it. Because there's a revolution coming. And the revolution, viva la revolution, right? You're going to realign your goals. You are going to reignite your passion. You are going to resupply the future because we need it. We need it. We need the succession plans, right? Those golden parachutes they got lots of holes in them if you don't have people working for the firm. We need to lead the charge. And we're going to lead the charge from the shadows because that's where we live, right? We are shadow ops. And I am proud to be a member of the shadow operators. So come along with us. GSCPA is here for you. Please join us. Follow us on the Business, Biceps, and BS podcast. Follow us. Come get some good CPE. Engage with us. We are happy. We are here for you. Tell us how we can serve you. Thanks.